This question 23 was one of the trickiest questions on this paper 2H from the IGCSE in June 2023. In fact, it was so tricky that the average score out of 4 was only just over 1 mark. Let's read through the question and see if we can solve it. So we've got a cuboid with a square cross-section. You can see it's a square because both of these side lengths are equal. They're both called x. We're told the volume is given by this. And without using a calculator, we're asked to find the value of x, giving our answer in this form, where a and b are integers. That just means whole numbers. We need to show the steps in our working clearly. So first of all, how do we find the volume of a cuboid? Well, we just multiply each of these side lengths that we've been given together. So we multiply x by 2 root 5 minus 3. And we're told that the volume here is 13 plus 6 root 5. X times x, that's x squared. So what we might try to do is to isolate this x squared. So we're going to do the opposite of multiplying by this bracket, which is dividing both sides by the contents of that bracket. That's going to cancel out this multiply here, leaving us on the right hand side with x squared equals this. Now, I'm going to want to take a square root at some point, but I don't want to take a square root straight away because I've got a root on the bottom of this fraction, on the denominator. And that's going to cause a problem for me later on. So I'm going to do something called rationalising the denominator by multiplying both top and bottom of this fraction by almost precisely the identical thing that I've got on the bottom here. The only change that I make is I change this sign here. So this now becomes a plus sign instead. Next, we expand the brackets in our usual way. So we've got 13 lots of 2 root 5. Well, 13 lots of 2, that's 26. So we've got 26 lots of root 5 there. What else do we have? Well, we've got to multiply 13 by 3. That gives me 39. What else? 6 root 5 multiplied by 2 root 5. Well, 6 multiplied by 2 is 12, and then root 5 multiplied by itself is really root 5 squared. That's what squaring means, multiplied by yourself. And we know that square and square root as inverse functions, as kind of like opposites, will cancel one another out. So we end up multiplying 12 by 5, which gives us 60 for that multiplication. Next, we have to multiply 6 root 5 by 3. 6 times 3 is 18, and then we've got the root 5. And then on the denominator, I'm going to have 2 root 5 multiplied by itself. So 2 multiplied by itself, that's 4. Root 5 multiplied by itself is 5. 4 times 5, that's 20. And then notice that I'm going to have, from this multiplication, I'm going to have a 6 root 5 plus 6 root 5. But from this multiplication, I'm going to have minus 6 root 5. So those two middle terms will cancel one another out. And I've got one final multiplication to do, which is minus 3 multiplied by 3, which gives me negative 9 here. So remember, those middle terms cancel one another out. 20 minus 9, that's 11 on the bottom there. 39 plus 60, well, that's 99. I've got plus 99 here. And then 26 root 5 plus 18 root 5. Well, 26 plus 18 is 44. So that's 44 lots of root 5 when we simplify. Okay, what do we do next? Well, we can divide 99 by 11, and we can divide 44 by 11. So that gives me 9 plus 4 root 5 equals x squared. Now, I need to leave my answer in a particular form in this question. So I can't just take a square root here at this stage. I need to use the fact that x squared is in this form, a plus root b. So let's replace the x there by the form they've given us. So this is, on the right hand side, a plus root b all squared. Remember what that means? Squaring means multiply by yourself. So we end up multiplying a times a, that's a squared. I'll also have a times root b, so that's a root b. And I've got another one of those, so that's 2 lots of a root b. And finally, I've also got to multiply root b by root b, well, that's just b. So if we compare what we've got here on the left-hand side, it must be that 9 is a squared plus b, that's the integer part. The 4 here must be the 2a, and the contents of this root here must be the b value. So, what can we conclude? Well, straight away we can see hopefully that b is 5, looking at the things that we highlighted just now in blue. And similarly, we can conclude that 4 is equal to 2a, looking at the things we highlighted in green. So therefore, a is equal to 2. And remember what we said about x? X was of the form a plus root b, so now we know a is 2 and b is 5. So the answer is 2 plus root 5.